Today's shave is going to be with this declaration: Grooming B5 knot, whip dog 24mm tall handle. It's in resin. I like to get my brushes wet via the soaking method. You can just run them under water and then let them sit for a little bit. This is just the way I like to do it. And we will be using this Nacet blade from Gillette. We have 50 dots on that side. And then today is the 75th use of this blade. Yesterday when I used it, it left a good bit of stubble here. I'm thinking it was the razor. May have been the lather. Could have been the blade, obviously. It is getting up there. But we're just going to see. The razor we're going to use it in is a timeless barber pole handle. And I have the scalloped base plate here. And this is the 95, which is the more aggressive head. The 68 is the mild head. They're both great. And here's the top cap. So, and here's just to show you. This is my blade with the X on it. That's the one that I've been using so many times. It's gotten so smooth. I tell you what, if you want smooth blade edges, then think about finding a blade that you can go a long way on, because those edges just smooth out really well. And it also matters about your technique. If you don't have good technique, you can't make a blade go very far. Alright, so plenty of room in the timeless right there for the suds in the hair to go away. So I really like it. And I like the size of this handle. It's not too thick. For me, I really enjoy that size. The soap we're going to use today is the remnants of my Williams puck. This is the black container you can get from Maggards for just a couple dollars. And we've still got maybe a week's worth. Who knows? Maybe that might even be 2 weeks worth of soap right there. I'm having to press it into the bottom to get it to stick. I hope it doesn't come loose, because that makes it harder to build up, to load the brush. Same container, I put in some Arco. I shredded the stick. I had the Arco sticks. I shredded just one stick, and with a cheese grater, and it just looked like cheese curls. I had 2 paper plates, and you could spread the one stick in half over 2 paper plates, let it air out for about 2 weeks. I did that. It was very stinky at first, if you don't like that lemony, detergent, industrial, synthetic type of smell. But after a week, it became where it wasn't too bad. And then I just let it go another week, and it actually, it's mild enough now where it's almost pleasant. So if you, it's a great performer, and it's very inexpensive. It's probably a better deal than Williams. Williams is just $1.50 or so, but I believe the Arco puck is an actual triple milled soap, and I believe it'll last longer than the Williams. So in terms of strictly monetary being the one factor you're thinking about, Arco might be the way to go if you can handle the smell. But if you let it sit out for 2 weeks, anybody can handle this smell. It's not very strong at all. Looking forward to trying that in the next few days. But I wanted to show you. So yeah, you shred them, let them sit out in the open air for a couple of weeks. If you're like me, you want to get rid of most of the scent. And then you press them. I just pressed it into the empty container, little bit by little bit, just with your thumb. You know, you can even see kind of some of the shreds still there. That's all you have to do. And now it's ready to go. And I put a label on there, and then you can see clear packaging tape to make it kind of waterproof. So that's what I do. And I put the date, because this is a soap that may last so long that I'm curious how long it lasts. So I went ahead and put the date in there. All right. The brush has been soaking. The lather bowl we're going to use for today is this guy from the Dollar Tree. Kind of a V shape, different than my usual one. And we're ready to go. So let me get wet in my face. And now we're gonna Oh, you know what? I meant to soak this. Well, we're going to see what happens if you don't soak it. All right, I'm going to probably load for 1.5 minutes. Did that yesterday. It didn't give me a very good result. All right, I've shaken some of the water out. So let's just, okay, at 5:30, then we can stop at 7. All right, there we go. Yeah, this is a little easier with the shallow cup than with the Old Spice mug. I was dinking, because it was so deep, I was dinking the walls all the time. So we're going to stop at 7. Now hopefully with this puck kind of stuck to the bottom, I hope it stays that way, and we might get a good bit of agitation here. Pivot the brush since it's all on one side. Like I've been saying in these Williams videos of late, if you're using Williams up yourself, then likely you would just take this little fragment, put it on top of a new puck, and you'd be fine. Check the time, about 40 more seconds. But this small puck has just taken a while to get enough lather on it. The last couple of shaves I've had to go back to the puck before every pass. Good water here at this location, not my usual place with hard water. All right, 15-ish more seconds. And there we go. Hopefully that has gotten us where we need to go. Now, right away we get the typical Williams airy bubbly lather. But you just gotta keep beating on that. And it gets better. Sometimes Williams takes a few minutes to get itself ready, especially if you haven't soaked the puck. See, already it's looking a little better. So if you want to fast forward or set the playback speed to something a little quicker, you can do that on the YouTube video. Hover over the video, bottom right hand corner is a gear icon, click that. Change the playback speed, probably just says speed. Change that speed setting to 1.5 maybe. Actually, look at that. Look at that. Getting there nicely. May have to add a little bit of water. Looks like maybe I've got enough soap. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of water, like a 1/4 teaspoon. And this is why I have to have a bowl about this big. Those little 4-inch bowls or 3.5-inch lather bowls that you see online, I don't know how people do it. I think they have tiny synthetic brushes that just don't splay, you know, like this. I think is what happens. So they can get away with a smaller brush. This is looking good. I'm bad man. You know what that sound is? That's that's me scooting my razor along the, he's on his side, and so the end of the razor blade is chattering as it moves along the counter. Well, shoot, I think this lather is ready to go. Hopefully it just doesn't collapse on me, but it looks pretty good. Get my face wet again. Be right back. Kind of a long day of driving, late, very late at night. So I'm keeping the hat on because I've got hat head. All right, so let us see how this lather is going to do. See if it stays creamy. Looking really good so far. So if you're a newbie, what we're doing first is just agitating the skin to clean it. Dead skin cells, some of the loose dead skin cells off. Getting oh, this is good lather. Cleaning it from dirt, things like that, so that that doesn't interfere with the cutting of the razor edge. We're also trying to kind of get some soap under the hair follicles just a little bit, not under the follicles, but kind of if it's laid over, if we can get some soap underneath, you know, then, you know, maybe there's a chance we can get it standing up a little bit so that we can just cut that guy off. Yeah, this is a good Williams lather. All right. Maybe in this container I was just able to, oh, well, it was stationary. In the Old Spice mug I've used lately, it hasn't been stationary. It moves around. So yeah, look at all this goodness that we've got right here. So I'll put that back in the bowl. So I feel good about this shave. This is a good lather. Alright. Had the charcoal goods razor. Oh yeah, this feels so much better than how it felt yesterday with the charcoal goods. The geometry, I think, was no longer a good match for this blade as it smoothed out. Because with each shave, obviously, it's dulling a little bit. But, I mean, come on, the blade is still so sharp that it's still able to give you a great cut. And people throw these Nacets away and other good blades after one use, 3 uses. You know, but they are cheap, and so each to his own. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you want to try to get more uses out of your blade, there's not as many voices out there telling you that you can as they are telling you to just ditch the blade and get a new one. All right, first pass quickly and comfortably down the drain. So I had a stationary soap chunk, 1.5 minutes of lather of loading, and I got tons of great lather. I did 1.5 minutes yesterday, and the puck moved around, and it wasn't anywhere near this. So having the puck be stationary is very important to a good lather. I had to go back to the puck between each pass. And with this one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up with 2 or 3 extra passes of lather. All right, Don't have to do as much scrubbing on the second pass because the first pass kind of took care of that for you. Across the grain now. So, I think one of the things that marathoning these blades, kind of what I'm calling it, one of the things it does for you, it changes the razors that you can use. If you have adjustables, it changes the setting that you can use. All of a sudden now you can use a 7 when before you stuck with a 5 or a 4 because the edge of the blade is just smoother. That may be something you want, may not be. Let me rinse this. Yeah, so this is doing so well. I can comfortably say that it must just be that charcoal goods level 2 that I had yesterday. That just the geometry wasn't quite right for my skin. And this aging blade. It just didn't give me, by the end of the third pass, even into the 3.5 passes, I didn't have a good cut. Great. Loving this head right now. It's just a perfect match. Super slick. Comfortable. Now this is the third pass. I'm going to come at this problem area right here. Just carefully. I'm going to watch it. Come at it from different angles. I usually do the Adam's apple area here with kind of a slant. That seems to work with my hair growth pattern. Yeah, that's looking pretty good for a end of a third pass shave. Okay. Not even going to bother rinsing. Light touch. A little bit of skin stretching, not much. By now the Williams has definitely lost its kind of citronella scent, and the fainter version, oh great cut, the light version of that same scent is just a nice clean shaving soapy type scent that I enjoy. Not very strong, so it should not offend anyone at this point. Man, I'm sweating because of this hat. All right. There are still some hairs there. Let's hit that one more time. Still a few hairs that have a little bit of length, but I'm fine with that. All right, gonna rinse. Yeah, that's a good cut. Kind of average for me, which is pretty good. So I'm happy with that. And yes, we did end up having some lather left over. So maybe 40 seconds of lathering is all that you might need, since the puck stayed stationary. And shoot, how many more days is that gonna? That really might go 2 more weeks. 51 shaves, conservatively speaking, is what I have gotten from a puck of Williams, with most of those shaves involving soaking. And so there are some people who think that you waste a lot of soap when you're soaking. But I watched my loading carefully so that I'm not having too much at the end of the shave and all that. And I think I'm kind of disproving that to some degree. All right. Plenty of lather left over. 2, maybe 3 passes. So the keeping that little chunk stationary in the container is key, as we mentioned earlier. I have got a little bit of irritation right here. I'm pretty sure a balm is going to take care of that. This is the balm that I started out with. Just Nivea sensitive. It doesn't have any alcohol in it, so it's good for all types of skin. And I've used up about 80% of this, and I want to kind of kill it because I think I like the original better. It has a little bit of alcohol in it, and I've got dry skin, and so I can take a good bit of alcohol in my post-shave products. But if you have really dry skin, then you probably would not want to do that. This one might be right up your alley. Available pretty much everywhere. Walmart, that sort of thing. Amazon has it, but you have to buy it in packs of 3. About $5.50, something like that is what it's going for right now. Very good product, good ingredients, and works well. And there we go. So I do have a little bit of redness, but I don't really feel it too much. I think I probably just buffed in a little too much of an area without having the lather be there like it should be, because pretty much user error right there. I wanted to show you these tubes here are organizational items that they have in home improvement stores, and I found this one near the bungee cords and tie downs in my local home improvement store. The brushes are a little bit short for this particular model. This is all they had that day. I don't know if they have shorter ones, but I think it worked out. Now, obviously, you might have to get a shorter one if you need the space travel-wise, but I put a little extra paper towel, and that keeps the brush from sliding back and forth, because that will kind of crimp the hairs in the knot right there. But it'll also help when I'm traveling with it being a little moist, because it'll help move some of that moisture into the paper towel. Obviously, a good option, and something I will do in the future, is to put some holes, in here and maybe in the cap, so that will also help other areas of getting that moisture out. So, and they were just a few dollars. They weren't too expensive. Thin plastic, and it has these end caps on it. So I'm really happy to have those. Just wanted to show them to you. And very cool. This is the one the brush will be using tomorrow. All right. I am packing things up. All right, great shave. Really happy that I was able to get the Williams to where the fragment was working well. Just had several shaves lately where it's been flopping around inside the mug, and just so hard to build up and load enough soap onto the brush. Worked fine today though. Nice. The brush was a little dense and tight in the middle. It could be because we traveled and it was inside the tube, and so after the end of the shave I folded down the bristles on all sides to make it bloom wider. Let's try it again tomorrow and see if if there's a change. If it's a little bit less blocky in the middle. All right, I threw on some Old Spice afterwards. For me, that it does kill a little bit of the moisturizing effect of the balm. That's fine. I go to oily skin, no big deal, and I love the scent. And I'm away from home, and my wife doesn't really like Old Spice, so I always throw it on when I'm traveling because I like it a lot. And really happy with the result. I took a closer look at it with everything dried up and all that, and just a few tips that had some length on them. So this blade is still going pretty strong. I think it has downgraded to a different level. So maybe from use 14 to 70 approximately. It was fairly easy to do 3.5 passes and get almost all of these hairs shaven flush. Whereas now it's starting to be a little bit more work, maybe an extra touch up, something like that. We're going to try the Carve Bradley razor tomorrow. That will have the E-plate on it, which is an aggressive plate that I don't normally use unless I have a blade like this. And so we'll see if I get better results. I may be able to tune in and find the right razor with a geometry that really makes this blade work well. That would be cool. So then I'd obviously stick with that razor probably for a while. Probably until I get to 100. So there we go. The irritation is just doesn't even feel like anything. Tiny stings when I put on the Old Spice a second ago. No big deal. Went away after a second or two. Very happy with the shave. The comfort during the shave was excellent. Second and third pass especially. But even with in the first pass, this was a lot more comfortable than with the Charcoal Goods Level 2 that I had yesterday. So this is a great little razor, for me at least. Remember, it's all subjective. You could have a totally different experience, even with the same products. All right, so there we go. All done. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I hope there was something here that helped you in some way. Take care. Have a good night.